Hello and welcome to an episode of Down the Aisle. Today we are talking all things DIY. As a general rule of thumb, weddings get expensive. It doesn't help that a lot of countries have what we call a wedding tax on things. So here's a list of a few things that Bubs and I are planning to DIY. Obviously, this is a list as it stands right now. I'm sure as we go further and further into wedding planning that we're probably going to be adding more and more DIYs to this list. Now, the first and biggest one is actually an event planner. Bubs and I professionally work in events. So there is no way we are going to pay someone to do that for us when we both do it for a living. So the first DIY and the biggest one is we are doing our own wedding planning top to bottom. Invitations and save the date cards. I will say our save the date cards have already gone out. We're in the process of making our invitations now, but they probably won't go out for a while because our wedding is still well over a year away from us. So we are using Canva, and when I say we, I am. I'm using Canva because it's really easy to use. There's so many templates. You can customize it however you want. You can take inspiration from Pinterest, all of that good stuff. I did buy a guillotine because I do need to cut them up because nobody wants an A4 invitation. The way that we've done them is like 4 to an A4 page. So that makes them what, A6 roughly, and then we've just used the guillotine to cut them to get those perfect straight lines. But you have to keep in mind that we live in a day and an age where not everyone's going to want a physical, piece of paper as a save the date or as an invitation. And I can guarantee you that there are people that I've already given physical save the dates to that have lost them and asked for an electronic. I was not going to pay Canva or Vistaprint to print them when I have a printer at home. Next up, we are planning to DIY our seating plan. It's basically the chart that you print off so that everyone can look at and work out where they're seated. We are again going to be using Canva. I do need to add that my sister recently sent me something. I will try and link it down below or add the name of it. And it is apparently free. I haven't really looked into it, but she sent me like a TikTok of someone else using it, and it's supposed to be free, and you can plan out your seating arrangements and you can physically draw them out on the venue floor if you have the measurements for the space that you're working with. Apparently it's really easy to use and it's good because you can just move people around. But yeah, I will be printing it myself. I'll be drawing it up myself and then taking it to Officeworks. Actually, I'm not printing it myself. I'm going to take it to Officeworks and probably most likely print it on Coreflute and then just use that. Yes, it's going to cost us, but it's still probably going to be cheaper than other ways of doing it. Speaking of Coreflute, we are also going to be printing and DIYing all of our own welcome signage for the ceremony and the reception. We're planning on purchasing 2 easels so that they can be displayed, and then we're going to do 2 signs for the ceremony and we're going to do 2 signs for the reception. Similar to the seating plan, we're going to take it to Officeworks and have it printed in Coreflute. That also goes for the welcome signage for our tea ceremony as well. Bring your own alcohol for the reception. This is definitely a venue specific thing, so please check with your venue before you show up with a mountain of alcohol. But the way that we are planning to do our wedding, we are most likely going to be allowed to do BYO liquor. We're probably just going to buy it all from Costco because that's where it's going to be the cheapest and we can get it in bulk. Table menus. Now, I don't really know if this is going to be a cost saving thing, but we wanted to regardless print off 2 menus per table so that the tables know what food to expect and what their options kind of are and what else is coming, instead of just being shocked when a plate shows up at the table. It's also going to be very important for allergen food notifications because as of now I know that there are 2 anaphylactics coming, so I don't want an ambulance in my reception. Next up is our message book and wishing well. Now obviously looking like this. We don't do a gift registry. It's typically just a wishing well, and it quite literally just looks like a rectangular box with a slit in the top of it, and everyone just kind of puts their gift in there. And then the message book is just a plain book. Obviously we're going to try find something that looks a little bit nicer because we do want to keep it, but it gives everyone an opportunity to write down well wishes for the newlyweds, but also some advice. And it's always nice to see what people have to say, because whether you ask for it or not, people will give you advice, so like you may as well as take it on board. This next DIY is definitely going to be labor intensive, but it's our party favors or our wedding favors. So we still aren't finalized on what favors we want. Obviously, we have so much time to plan, but we've kind of already decided that we want to do our own wedding favors because they're going to be closer to us as people. We've decided we wanted to pick 2 wedding favors that are kind of encompassing us as a couple or us as people, and then to give those to our guests. We're also trying to make them edible, because I feel like those are the only gifts that people actually take with them. Like, I'm not going to do candles, I'm not going to do that stuff, but like I've been to parties before where they've literally just put like stuff on tables that they've just bought in bulk off like Alibaba or something, and 90% of it gets left behind because there is no practical purpose for it. I feel like food is the one where everyone's like, oh, like I'll take that home. Like if you give them like honey, for example, or if you give them like chocolates, at least like it's edible and they can eat it, or at least snack on it out once they've left, like as they're leaving the reception. As it currently stands, that is everything that we are going to be DIYing for our wedding. Like I mentioned, that list will probably grow as we kind of get further and further into planning. Let me know down in the comments if you have DIY'd anything for your wedding, and was it actually a cost saving measure, or did you do it just because you could? Or maybe there's something that you regretted DIYing and maybe you should have just paid a professional to do it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are. Bye!